Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Why do Muslims, when asked whether God is love, respond with, "No, He is merciful"? Rahmah in Arabic is not mercy. Rahmah has the meaning of merciful love or loving mercy. The word Rahmah is derived from a root which denotes the womb. We would never describe the mother's relationship to her child as based on mercy or mercy primarily, but rather a loving mercy or a merciful love. As for Allah being love itself, He is, for He is al-Wudud, or the loving. In the Qur'an, Allah introduces Himself firstly as al-Rahman and al-Rahim. Among the most common linguistic interpretations of the subtlety between these names, for both of them share in the root of Rahmah or loving mercy, is that al-Rahman refers to the loving mercy of the Divine for all creatures without exception, and al-Rahim is a special mercy reserved for those who love and obey Him. Islam teaches that Allah's loving mercy encompasses all things. There is nothing existent that is deprived of the divine manifestations of His loving mercy. All are enveloped within it, believer and disbeliever, obedient and disobedient. A famous prophetic tradition states that Allah declares, "Certainly my mercy supersedes my anger." From this we learn that we are not ruled exclusively or primarily through Allah's name, the infinitely just, or al-Adl. If we were tasked with a standard of care befitting of divine justice, we would be incapacitated and we would fail. None of our intentions, words, or acts would meet the measure of infinite beauty or majesty. Allah reminds us that if He would hold human beings to account for their injustice, He would spare none on this earth. But rather, He rules and administers through His loving mercy. The Messenger, peace be upon him, is described in one verse as a loving mercy to the worlds, using in this verse the verbal noun Rahmah and not an adjective. This means, as an ultimate emphasis, that He was a loving mercy embodied and personified. So consequently must it also be for the vicegerents of the divine. Of the most principal divine names to be embodied, internalized and actualized are those pertaining to the divine's loving mercy. All activism is an act of love. A Muslim does not delight in the suffering of anyone at any dimension of suffering, whether individual or collective, secular or spiritual. A Muslim is always desirous and solicitous of the welfare of others, and always strives to provide relief to others in both their here and hereafter. Any activism bereft of mercy is not Islamic and can never be, no matter what the interpretation, legal justification, or rationalization of justice. The last point is critical. For if our justice is not tempered and overseen by our loving mercy, we will undoubtedly fall into injustice. An obsession with justice, and only justice, will eventually turn us tyrannical in ways that are imperceptible and inconspicuous. In the end, an eye for an eye makes everyone blind. How often does our activism rebound on us? History is replete with examples of victims who turned into victimizers. oppressed who became oppressors, and those who exacted justice without or at the expense of mercy and became mercenary. When our inner character is imbued with the beauty of the divine names of loving mercy, we never lose sight of our own histories. Imagine, if the divine dealt with us with infinite justice, we would never have been given the respite to learn and change. Someone infinitely greater forgave our trespasses, and we too should invest our optimistic hope in others to the greatest extent possible. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.